Imagine standing here. Just you, this spear, and that. 3 tons of muscle, tusks like tree trunks, and it knows you're here. Your heart is hammering against your ribs like a trapped bird. Every instinct screams run, but you don't. Your ancestors, didn't they look giants in the eye and charged? Why? How did scrawny, clawless, fangless apes like us become the planet's most relentless hunters? The answer rewrites everything you thought you knew about human courage and rewired our brains. Forever, forget Jurassic Park. The real land of monsters wasn't dinosaurs. It was our world. Just yesterday, geologically speaking, we're talking the Pleistocene epoch, the last great Ice Age playground. And the stars of this show weren't dinosaurs, they were mammals. But not like any mammals you've seen at the zoo. This wasn't a world scaled for us. This was a world of giants. The woolly mammoth, a shaggy tank weighing up to 6 tons, tusks curving like deadly tree trunks. Mastodons, their cousins, browsing forests with powerful trunks. Then there's the Smilodon, the saber-toothed cat. Forget lion fangs. These were serrated knives nearly a foot long, and the predators didn't stop there. Meet Arctodus simos, the short-faced bear. Picture a grizzly, then double its height when it stands. Triple its weight. This bear could run down horses. South America had Megatherium, the giant ground sloth, a slow-moving, leaf-eating behemoth that could literally uproot trees. Australia, home to Diprotodon, a rhino-sized wombat. North America had the Glyptodon, a Volkswagen Beetle-sized armadillo covered in bony plates. This was the global menagerie early humans walked into. This wasn't just a world with giants. It was a world ruled by them. Think about the landscapes. Vast, cold grasslands. The mammoth steppe, stretching for thousands of miles, sculpted by the feeding habits of millions of giant herbivores. Their sheer weight compacted the earth. Their paths became trails. Their wallows created ponds. They were ecosystem engineers on a massive scale. The rhythms of life were set by these titans. Predators like saber-toothed cats were built to take down prime-aged mega-herbivores. Giant bison, camels, even young mammoths. Competition was fierce. Dire wolves, larger and more robust than modern wolves, hunted in packs. Giant hyenas scavenged fiercely, and towering over them all, the short-faced bear, a true super-predator. The air vibrated with their presence. The ground literally shook when a herd moved. Look at them. Seriously, look. Standing there on the edge, Homo sapiens, maybe 5.5 feet tall on a good day, maybe 150 pounds soaking wet. No thick fur like a mammoth, no severe fangs, no claws, just us. Skinny bipeds with oversized heads, holding some rocks we've banged together. On paper, it's laughable, insane even. What business did this hairless ape have in a world ruled by biological tanks and living weapons? Yet evidence is carved in stone and bone across continents. We deliberately hunted these giants. We sought them out. We brought them down. Think about that for a second. Those trembling hands on the spear shaft. They weren't just trembling from fear. They were trembling from the sheer, audacious nerve it took to look at a 3-ton mammoth and think, yeah, dinner. This wasn't madness. It was necessity. So why roll the dice against giants? Why not stick to berries, roots, and the occasional rabbit? Because we were running a biological Ponzi scheme that demanded high-stakes hunting. Our secret weapon, that big brain, is also an energy vampire. Pound for pound, your brain guzzles 20 times more energy than muscle tissue. Even at rest, It burns about 20 to 25% of your total calories. For a hunter-gatherer, that's catastrophic. Inefficiency, unless you find an incredibly rich fuel source. Think about it. Gathering enough berries to power a big brain is a full-time job for a lot of people. A rabbit might give you 500 calories. Now, imagine bringing down a single giant bison is at least 300,000 plus calories of fat and protein. One successful hunt could feed a band for weeks. That's efficiency. Our guts even shrank compared to other primates. We traded brawn for brains, but brains needed brawn-sized calories to run. Megafauna were the only ATMs big enough to cash the checks our hungry minds were writing. It wasn't a choice. It was a physiological imperative. But the savannah wasn't an empty buffet. We weren't just hunting giants. We were elbowing our way onto a dinner table already crowded with nature's most efficient killers. Saber-toothed cats, perfectly evolved ambush predators. Packs of dire wolves, relentless and coordinated. Giant hyenas, bone crushers capable of pulverizing carcasses we couldn't even access. Think about the competition. A saber-tooth takes down a young mammoth. The pride feasts, then the hyenas move in. By the time we cautiously approach, what's left? Scraps. The high-calorie prize is long gone. Relying solely on scavenging meant perpetually living on the nutritional edge and trying to steal a kill against a pride of saber-tooths. That wasn't bravery, that was suicide. We were physically outmatched in every direct confrontation, and then the Earth itself turned up the heat. The Pleistocene wasn't stable. It was a roller coaster of glacial advances and retreats. Ecosystems shifted dramatically. Forests gave way to grasslands, then froze into tundra. Familiar plant foods vanished. Herds migrated vast distances. Imagine your main berry patch buried under 10 feet of ice. Your band is starving. But out on the windswept steppe, you see them, a herd of woolly mammoths. Hunting them isn't just an option. It might be the only option left. Failure means watching your children weaken. Success means survival through the long winter. This climate instability turned megafauna from a risky luxury into a critical lifeline. The math became terrifyingly simple. High risk of death versus certainty of slow starvation. This crucible didn't just force us to hunt. It forced us to become cunning, coordinated, and utterly relentless. Forget the spear for a second. Our first weapon against giants wasn't held in our hands. It was built into our bodies. We are the planet's ultimate endurance runners. On a hot day, over long distances, a fit human can outrun any quadruped on Earth. Not in a sprint, horses leave us in the dust. But over 10 kilometers, 20, under the midday sun, that's our domain. Here's the brutal physics. Most large mammals gallop. It generates massive internal heat. They have to stop and pant to cool down. We sweat profusely. We can shed heat while moving, so the strategy was simple. Pick a target. Apply gentle, terrifying pressure. Keep it moving. Never let it rest. No dramatic charges, just persistence. Imagine the psychological toll. These calm, hairless apes just keep coming. Mile after mile, the giant isn't defeated by a single blow. It's systematically broken down. But taking down a multi-ton animal that knows it's being hunted, that requires more than stamina. It requires coordination unseen elsewhere in nature. Wolves hunt in packs, but their coordination is instinctive. Humans, we could plan, improvise, communicate complex ideas in the moment. This is where language was revolutionary. Scouts identify a vulnerable target. A plan is hatched. Who acts as decoy? Who flanks? Who drives? During the hunt, constant communication. Drive it left. Tusker charging. This real-time coordination turned individuals into a single, intelligent organism. One human with a spear is a nuisance. 15 humans communicating, that's an existential threat. We could exploit blind spots, attack from multiple angles. The pack was the weapon. Coordination got us close, but to pierce hide thicker than leather armor, we needed to cheat physics. Enter human ingenuity. It started simple, a sharpened stone, then the game changer, the hafted spear, mounting that sharp stone onto a long shaft. Suddenly, we could attack beyond reach of tusks, but thrusting meant getting close, next leap, the otlot. This simple wooden hook multiplied throwing force. A spear launched could hit with bullet-like energy from 50 meters away. Later, the bow refined this further. This tech wasn't just about killing, it was about surviving the kill. A single well-placed spear could doom a mammoth. Stone and wood, transformed by intelligence into tools that leveled the field. Staring down a ton of enraged muscle wasn't just terrifying. It rewired the human brain. Think about the mental software required: hyperacute situational awareness, instant risk assessment, suppressing paralyzing fear into focused action. This wasn't blind bravery, it was courage, acting despite fear, because stakes demand it. Natural selection favored those performing this calculus under fire. This honed our prefrontal cortex, giving power to override panic with reason. That legacy is in you. That surge before a crucial meeting, the calm. In emergency, it's the echo of standing on that ancient plain. Our relationship with fear was forged in giant shadows. Taking down a mammoth demanded absolute trust. You had to know the hunter flanking you wouldn't bolt. Success meant resources no individual could defend alone. This created unprecedented evolutionary pressure. Deep cooperation became survival. Sharing wasn't kindness, it was insurance. Protecting the injured, their skills were vital. This forged bonds based on proven trust. Megafauna hunting turbocharged social evolution. It demanded communication, enforced fairness, punished freeloaders. The band became more than family. It became an organism forged in the ultimate challenge. Long after giants vanished, their shadows lingered in our psyche. Look at earliest art. They painted the hunt. Majestic mammoths, charging bison. They carved half-human figures embodying power. That primal cocktail, fear, focus, cooperation, overcoming challenge, is still potent. It's why we slay dragons in stories. Why we climb mountains or crave a competition. We crave the echo because it's woven into our neural fabric. And then they were gone. The wave of extinctions swept the globe. We lost the giants that shaped us. We lost the challenge that forged our courage. We became masters of a suddenly smaller world. The hunt ended, but the hunter within, that restless, cooperative spirit, it never left us. It is us. So were early humans fearless? No, they were terrified. Just like us facing modern giants, illness, uncertainty, personal mountains. But that trembling hand on the spear, that wasn't weakness. That was the crucible. That was courage firing under pressure. They weren't fearless. They were fear alchemists. They took raw terror and forged intelligence, cooperation, and relentless will. The mammoth's shadow stretches across millennia. We no longer hunt giants with spears, but we hunt knowledge, justice, and potential with the same toolkit: courage, trust, and turning weakness into weapons. We are children of scrawny apes who stared down monsters. That legacy isn't history. It's our operating system. What giant are you facing? A personal goal, creative block, community challenge. Think, what's your modern spear? Who's your hunting band? Share your thoughts below. If this resonated, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to explore more forces that shaped humanity. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay courageous.